not letting anyone in unless they had a mask. Meanwhile, I went to a fast food place last night. I was only one of 10 people in there wearing a mask. Staff said they were told not to challenge people if they weren't wearing one. But since police are unsure about enforcing it either, Bedfordshire Police have urged locals to not call them and to report people not wearing face coverings. Instead, raised concerns with store staff. And the Police Federation of England and Wales said forces don't have the resources to widely enforce the law and that shops should be refusing entry. These rules, of course, Andrew, only apply to England. And in other news today, there's more lockdown easing in England, namely indoor swimming pools and gyms can reopen. I'm down at Fitness First in Clapham Junction to see what the new normal for working out will be.
James, good man, get yourself in there. WBC's reporter talking about face masks and indoor gyms opening today and other fitness facilities as well. To that in just a second, but back to the masks. It's interesting what one of his interviewees was saying there, James Goodison. Does it keep people safe to actually wear a mask? Let's talk to Linda Ball, Professor Linda Ball, a professor in public health at the University of Edinburgh. Hello, Linda.
Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning. Does it keep people safe to wear a mask?
It does provide additional protection. So lots of infections are spread by droplets, as you know. They can be quite large when they first come out, in a cough or a sneeze, and then smaller when they travel through the air. So the job of a face covering, in this case rather than a mask, isn't to protect the wearer necessarily, but to block the source of the infection. So you're providing some protection to somebody else who might pass, for example, close to you in a shop or elsewhere. So the science on this is strengthened.
Okay, the science is strengthened, but you can't point me to any report or scientific evidence that says masks keep people safer.
Well, actually, there's a really good recent review from Independent Sage, which I could point you to, that would bring it all together. Let me just be clear. There's two types of evidence. The first one is from lab studies, and the second one is natural experiments, where they've looked at people who've worn them and not worn them. And both of those show that there is definitely extra protection provided by these face coverings. I know they're uncomfortable, but that's what the science says.
Randomized control trials, have there been any of those?
Now, that's the area where we have weak evidence, and the main reason for that is it's actually incredibly difficult to randomize hundreds of people to wear a face covering over a long period in the community, which is what we're talking about, and others not. So those studies don't exist, basically.
Why do we have to now wear a face mask in a shop but not in a pub or in a restaurant? Why are we going to be able, how are we going to go open gyms with people there who are not going to do it? The rules are in gyms, which are opening today. How can we fly on aeroplanes but not have to wear masks in different settings like pubs and restaurants where we're being encouraged with the voucher scheme to go back? This is one source of the, if not confusion, then resentment.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, let me just be clear. We had to wear them everywhere indoors, including in our own homes, to be frank. And it would provide additional protection, but that's obviously not feasible. In terms of the pubs and restaurants, I mean, it's not rocket science. It's because people are eating and drinking. I saw a picture on the internet of a mask with a face covering where you could open up a little space and eat and drink. That's not going to provide any protection.
But you don't have to. In pubs and restaurants, you can't wear it.
Yes, you're not asked to wear one, and that is the case around the world because, as I say, the reason that pubs and restaurants are exempt is because you're eating and drinking in those settings.
Yeah, but hold on a second. Aren't we supposed to stay safe?
Yeah, but this is not a perfect world. I mean, let's be completely frank. I know
that's what I'm trying to get at, Professor Ball. This is Linda. I'll call you. This is what I'm trying to get at: is where is the politics in this, and where is the science? And why are we making a decision now? What's the date today? Look at this. This is the 25th of July. The West End closed down in the second week of March. The full national economic and global economic shutdown happened March 23rd. It's now July. Why now?
Well, the UK has been super slow on this. Sorry, a lot of people in public health have been saying we should have been doing this weeks, if not months ago. When the World Health Organization declared a pandemic, 70 countries were already requiring this. It's now over 120. The UK is one of the last.
Right. Okay. I've got a text in here from Julie who says face masks are about compliance, not safety. I'm not wearing one because I have researched this pandemic. So people kind of go their own way. Now, you can easily dismiss Julie and say, well, she doesn't know what she's talking about, probably not a scientist or whatever. But actually, people feel that they're being subservient. People feel that they're being put down and they're crushed. And you can laugh and you can point the finger at them and say they're ridiculous, don't know what they're talking about. But actually, people really are sick and tired of being told what to do.
Oh, I completely understand that. And in fact, if you look around the world, Andrew, globally, this is not something we're used to. And we also really highly value our rights, and we don't like the state telling us what to do. Absolutely, completely get that. And so I think we've all seen the stuff on the internet from the US with some of the people giving evidence and explaining why they won't wear a face covering. I won't go into all the details on some of those comments.
Yeah.
But I completely get that. I really do. But you know, the thing is, nobody wants to go back into lockdown, and we've seen that happen locally. So of all the things the government has asked us to do, stay at home, you know, close our businesses, children not have education for months. To be frank, wearing a face covering when you're going in and out of a shop is a tiny thing.
Yeah, it is. But having done all that, and you know, and willingly given away these rights, if you like, I think a lot of people just feel that this is a step too far. Actually, I think we'll just pass it. I think people just want to be told what to do, and I'll open up the lines on that. Professor, thank you very much indeed. That's Linda Ward, Professor in Public Health at the University of Edinburgh. Johnny Silverstone is owner of Dizzy, an independent women's retailer in Romford, who's been in business for some 35 years or so. Hello, Johnny. Hello, Johnny.
Morning.
Yeah, morning. Tell me what your experience has been as you welcome people back into the shop. Do people mind wearing masks? Is this something that you're trying to get people to do, or do you insist upon it, Johnny?
This is based on yesterday, the experience of yesterday. If it is, we found probably about 20% of our customers wearing masks. I have spoken to members of staff. We don't feel we can actually enforce it at the point of entry. So what we've done is, in all our stores, we've put a massive box of face masks on the counter, and we try to gesture people towards taking one free of charge.
Okay. Do you think it makes people feel safer or less safe in a shop when they have to wear a face mask? PC Harper. Police Widows' agony as cheering killers celebrate. And also a story we'll be covering later on calorie labels on alcohol and your meals out. Prime Minister's radical plan to beat the obesity crisis. I've also got the FT in front of me, and David Buick will be along in a couple of minutes' time, but it is that PC Andrew Harper death that we're going to talk about. 3 teenagers then convicted of the manslaughter of PC Andrew Harper. He died after being dragged along a road by a car. LBC's Nick Codling has been following the case. It was at the Old Bailey yesterday.
It's been almost a year since PC Andrew Harper died in the line of duty. The well-liked and recently married Thames Valley police officer had been responding to reports of a burglary near the village of Salthampston outside of Reading and ended up chasing these 3 teenagers on trial here at the Old Bailey who were trying to steal a quad bike. Tragically, in his pursuit, he was caught up in a tow rope attached to the car. The 3 teens were trying to escape it, and after being dragged along country roads for more than a mile, died of horrific injuries near the A4 in Berkshire. The driver of the car, 19-year-old Henry Long from Mortimer near Reading, and his passengers, 18-year-olds Albert Bowers and Jesse Cole from Reading, all appeared visibly relieved via video link from Belmarsh Prison as the jury cleared them of murder of the young officer. Long had already admitted manslaughter, with the jury then unanimously convicting Bowers and Cole of manslaughter as well. PC Harper's wife Lissy made a brief statement outside the Old Bailey. She said she was immensely disappointed by the verdict.
The way in which Andrew was robbed of his life, we all know to be barbaric and inexplicable. I'm immensely disappointed with the verdict given today. Andrew served in Thames Valley Police with honour. He went out night after night, risking his life for the safety and well-being of the innocent, as all police officers do with passion. Ultimately, he laid down his life for us all.
This trial also saw a number of disruptions as well. The last 5 weeks was in fact a retrial, with the original trial having to be abandoned on the day the country went into lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic. That trial itself had already seen disruption, with security bolstered after police said they'd uncovered a possible plot by associates of the defendants to intimidate the jury. Then towards the end of the second trial, this trial, a juror was apparently seen by a prison officer mouthing "goodbye boys" to the 3 defendants as she left the courtroom. Mr. Justice Edis then decided to discharge her, claiming her surprising conduct could be seen as a display of partiality towards the defendants. Then finally, after more than 12 hours of deliberations, the jury came to this verdict of manslaughter. The judges said he will set a date for sentencing next week.
Well, that's going to be the focus of national press and public attention. It really is. That's LBC's Nick Codling reporting on the 3 teenagers who've been convicted of the manslaughter of PC Andrew Harper. We'll take a definition of manslaughter a little bit later on from a legal point of view and how it differs from murder, because Lizzie Harper, this poor woman, the widower now of Andrew Harper, and you know, the difference between manslaughter and murder is largely about premeditation. So the jury have reached their decision, but the account of what went on in that courtroom and the alleged accusations of tampering, the fact that the trial had to be stopped at one point and the judge had to get involved. Extraordinary moment. The Sun newspaper running an editorial today, which I believe every single one of these words I must say I agree with. There is one last chance for our discredited justice system to do right by brave PC Andrew Harper. That is for the judge to give a life sentence to the 3 smirking, remorseless, wicked deadbeats who killed him. Here. 7:30 is the time. Bill Overton with the news.
Public Health England's warning of a 40% added risk of dying from coronavirus for people overweight as a result of months in lockdown. It claims the lack of mobility has raised dramatically chances of having to be admitted to hospital. The Prime Minister concedes the government could have handled the early stages of the coronavirus crisis differently. More lockdown measures eased today in England and Wales. And a new book's claiming a breakdown in the relationship between 2 royal couples is one of the main reasons the Duke and Duchess of Sussex decided to withdraw from public duties. It suggests the Sussexes and Cambridges were barely speaking to one another. The weather, showers and drizzle to start today before some warm sunny spells. Rain later on with some heavy downpours and thunder, a high of 24 degrees.
This is LBC. We are at last, eventually, finally, at the end of the Premier League season that almost wasn't. And there's still so much to be decided. Who's going down? Who's going to be in Europe? And who's going to engrave that asterisk next to Liverpool's name on the trophy? Only joking, Liverpool fans. It's all happening this Sunday. And to celebrate, Paddy Power are offering a completely free £5 bet on any Premier League game. That's right, a completely free, gratis, complimentary £5 bet on any Premier League game. Honey Power. T's and C's apply. Online exclusive. New customers must deposit one £5 free bet per customer. Not to require 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
When your tenants have a burst pipe, superheroes crashing through the wall isn't going to help. With Direct Line Landlord Emergency added to your policy, we're on it to send a rather super plumber in 4 hours, and they'll use the doorbell. We can also assemble locksmiths, glaziers, electricians and drainage engineers. It's £7.50 a month per property over 12 months. We solve problems, you save money. Search Direct Line Landlord Emergency. We're on it. Direct Line. Residential properties. Optional add-on £90 per year. Up to 1,500 per caller. Extreme weather conditions may extend response time. Underwritten by UK Insurance Limited.
As we open things up again, how do we keep safe? Max runs a cafe.
We've worked really hard to make the coffee shop COVID safe. Keep 2 meters apart, or 1 meter with extra precautions. Follow our new one-way system. Use the extra hand sanitizer, and try to stay at your table as much as possible. We can't wait to welcome everyone back, but please, remember the safety guidelines so we can all stay open.
Stay alert. Control the virus. Save lives.
Restrictions are finally starting to ease, and we're delighted to say that TDC Dental Implant Centers will